My parents said they can't be seen at my wedding because I married before my sister. Full story. My parents left 2 empty chairs at my wedding. Not literally, I left them. Front row aisle seats with little place cards that said Mom and Dad. Every time I look at my photos, those 2 empty chairs are in the corner of the frame like ghosts. Why? Because my parents decided that their image was more important than my marriage. They told me word for word, "We cannot be seen supporting this. It's disrespectful to your sister, and it makes our family look bad. If you insist on getting married before her, you're doing it without us." So while I walked down the aisle to marry the love of my life, my parents were across town taking selfies at a fancy brunch with my perfect older sister, the one I wasn't allowed to upstage. Now their perfect family image is finally crumbling. And I'd be lying if I said it doesn't feel a little bit like karma. If you like having stories like this on in the background while you game, work, or fall asleep, subscribe to the channel. I post new full Reddit stories every day. My name is Hannah, I'm 26. My husband is Daniel, 28. And then there's my older sister, Claire, 29, the golden child, the pride of the family, the one my parents literally introduced as, "This is our daughter Claire, she's a lawyer. And this is Hannah, she's creative." You know that tone? The "we're not saying we're disappointed, but we're disappointed" tone. Growing up, my parents were obsessed with looking like the perfect family. We were the Christmas card family. Matching outfits, professional photos, long captions about blessings and gratitude. They wanted everything to look perfect from the outside. Perfect house, perfect marriage, perfect daughters. The problem is, perfect had a very specific definition. Straight A student, prestigious job, traditional timeline, college career engagement, white dress, wedding, babies. Claire fit that mold like it was made for her. She was the honor student, the varsity athlete, the one who went to a top law school and got a job at a big firm. My parents posted every single one of her achievements like it was a Nobel Prize. Me? I was the artsy one. I liked writing, theater, and kids. I became an elementary school teacher. To my parents, that translated as, "Oh, you're going to color and sing songs for a living." Don't get me wrong, they weren't monsters 24/7. They paid for my college, they came to some of my plays, they said the words, "We love you." But there was always this undercurrent of, "Claire is our main character. You're the side quest." As we got older, that turned into something else. Control. In my family, there was this unspoken rule. Claire goes first. She got the first car. Her graduation party was a huge catered event. Mine was a barbecue in the backyard, because we did the big thing already. When I mentioned moving out with roommates before Claire had bought her condo, my mom said, "Can you please wait? It would look strange if the younger sister leaves home before the older one is settled." So I stayed. When Claire got engaged to Ethan, my parents practically threw a parade. He's a doctor from a wealthy, conservative family. The engagement party looked like a magazine spread. White flowers, champagne tower, live string quartet. My parents kept calling it the start of our perfect future. They also started saying things like, "Hannah, don't worry, your time will come. Just please don't rush. We don't want anything to overshadow Claire's big moment." I was dating Daniel by then. We met through friends. He's not a doctor or a lawyer. He's a civil engineer. He's steady, kind, nerdy, and honestly one of the most emotionally intelligent people I've ever met. My parents liked him at first, or at least they liked that he was respectable. But as soon as Claire's engagement turned into wedding planning, my relationship became inconvenient. Every time I mentioned Daniel, my mom would say, "Sweetie, we love that you're happy, but could you please not talk about engagements yet? Claire has waited her whole life for this. We don't want people asking about you while we're still planning her big day." It sounded insane to me. We're grown adults, not contestants in a beauty pageant. Still, I tried to be respectful. We didn't get engaged. We stayed in our little apartment, planning our future quietly. Then COVID pushed Claire's wedding back. Then Ethan's residency schedule changed. Then his parents insisted on a specific venue that was booked out for over a year. Suddenly, Claire's wedding was 3 years away. In that time, Daniel and I built a life together. We moved into a slightly bigger apartment. We combined finances. We went through a health scare on his side and came out stronger. We talked seriously about marriage and kids. So one night he took me to the spot where we had our first date, pulled out a ring and asked me to marry him. No audience. No photographer. Just us in a pizza place that smelled like garlic knots. I said yes. I cried. He cried. We sat in the car afterwards talking about our small, cozy wedding with people who actually loved us, not just people who wanted good photos. Telling my parents was less cozy. We went over for dinner, I showed them the ring, and my mom's smile looked like it hurt her face. Wow, she said. That was fast. Daniel and I have been together for 4 years. My dad didn't even fake it. You couldn't wait, he asked. Claire has been engaged for 2 years. Her wedding isn't until next spring. We've already booked things. Do you know how it will look if you get married first? I blinked. It will look like 2 adult daughters having weddings? I said. People do it all the time. There's no rule that older siblings must go first. My mom put her fork down with a clink. Hannah, you know that's not how our community thinks, she said. What are Ethan's parents going to say if they hear the younger sister rush to the altar first? It will make it look like Claire is dragging her feet. There it was again, image. Not my happiness. Not my relationship. Their reputation. Daniel tried to help. We're not trying to compete with Claire, he said. We just want to start our life. We're thinking a small ceremony, maybe 60 people. You'll both be front and center with us. My dad shook his head. No, absolutely not before Claire, he said. If you insist on getting married, you'll have to wait. Just a year. Let Claire have her moment. I'm not proud of it, but I snapped. Claire has had her moment since she was born, I said. I'm not putting my entire life on pause because my sister's wedding has a long pre-order time. My mom's voice went cold. You're being selfish, she said. Think about the bigger picture. The bigger picture meant our holiday card, our social circle, our church friends, our extended family gossip. Over the next few weeks, they tried every tactic. Guilt. Your grandparents will be confused if you go first. Minimizing. You're just a teacher. Your career isn't time sensitive. Claire's job is demanding. She needs more planning time. Bribes. If you wait and do a joint reception, we'll pay for your honeymoon. Wait. And have my wedding merged into my sister's? Hard pass. The final straw was a phone call from my mom where she said, if you go through with a wedding before Claire, your father and I will not attend. We will not host anything, we will not help, and we will not pretend this is okay. We will tell people you chose to elope on your own. I remember sitting on my kitchen floor after that call, phone in my lap, heart pounding. Daniel sat down next to me and said, we can still get married. Your parents get to make their choices. We get to make ours. We talked to my therapist, some trusted friends, and my mom's one sane sister, my Aunt Lisa. Everyone who wasn't my parents basically said, this is insane. Get married. We'll be there. So we did. We booked a beautiful little venue at a local botanical garden. We invited about 70 people. Friends, my aunt and cousins, Daniel's entire family, some co-workers, our neighbors. We sent my parents and Claire formal invitations with, we would love to have you with us, written in my handwriting at the bottom. My parents responded with a 2-line email. We will not be attending. We hope you reconsider this timeline. Claire texted me. I love you, but this is really hard for mom and dad. I'm staying neutral. I'm not taking sides. Spoiler. Neutral meant not coming. I asked her, so you're okay with our parents skipping my wedding over optics? She left me on read for 3 days, then replied, I just don't want drama. Can we talk after everything settles down? Spoiler number 2. It was drama. Just the kind where I'm the only one bleeding. The day of our wedding was beautiful and brutal at the same time. Daniel's mom helped me into my dress. His dad cried during the first look. My Aunt Lisa walked me down the aisle. Those 2 empty chairs in the front row stared back at me, with mom and dad written in the same calligraphy as everyone else's place cards. After the ceremony, while we were taking photos, my cousin showed me my mom's Instagram story. They were dressed up for brunch, boasting about quality time with our girls, except the girls were my sister Claire and her future in-laws, having mimosas and trying wedding cakes. Caption: family comes first, clinking glasses, 2 hearts. I stood there in my wedding dress, holding my bouquet, staring at my parents branding themselves as family first while actively boycotting their actual daughter's wedding. That hurt in a way I don't know how to fully explain. We left our phones in the bridal suite after that and focused on the people who actually showed up. The wedding itself was incredible. We danced, we laughed, we cried. Daniel and I wrote our own vows. People told us afterward that it was the most genuine wedding they'd been to in years. But when we got back from our mini honeymoon, the real fun started. My parents had been busy. Remember how my mom said, we'll tell people you chose to elope on your own? She had gone on a quiet PR campaign. Family group chats were full of messages like, we're heartbroken Hannah decided to have a wedding without telling us. We found out after the fact. We would have loved to be there, but she rushed and shut us out. They made it sound like Daniel whisked me away in some secret ceremony and I just didn't invite my own parents. My grandparents called, confused. My uncle sent a long text about respecting elders. Even Claire texted, I wish you had communicated better. Mom and dad are devastated. That's when I pulled out receipts. I screenshotted the email where they said they wouldn't attend. The text where my mom said, "We cannot be seen supporting this." The invitation photo with the handwritten, "We would love to have you with us." And my mom's brunch story from the day of the wedding. I dropped them, politely but clearly, into the family group chat with, "Just to clarify, Mom and Dad were invited, they chose not to come, and they planned a separate event that day. I understand if people disagree with our wedding timeline, but I'm not okay being painted as the one who excluded my own parents." It was quiet for a while. Then my Aunt Lisa chimed in. "I was at the wedding. It was beautiful. Hannah begged them to come. They refused. Let's not rewrite history." My grandma called me privately and apologized for assuming. Some cousins texted me support. My parents? My mom sent me, "You're making us look bad." No, Mom. You did that yourself. After the group chat incident, my parents went low contact with me. No congratulations. No wedding gift. No house married life. Just occasional passive-aggressive messages like, "Hope you're happy. This has been very hard on our family." As if Daniel and I committing to each other was a tragedy, Claire stayed neutral. She didn't defend me, but she also stopped bringing up the wedding at all. Life went on. Daniel and I settled into married life. We adopted a dog, merged holiday traditions, and started saving for a house. Then, about a year later, the perfect family narrative finally started to crack. And not because of anything I did. Claire's perfect engagement? The one my entire life was supposed to revolve around? It exploded. Apparently, Ethan had been cheating on her with a coworker. He wasn't just cheating. He was engaged to Claire while talking about not being sure he believed in marriage anymore to other people. The wedding was 6 months away. Deposits paid, dress bought, invitations designed. My parents were furious, but not in the way you'd hope. Yes, they were upset that their daughter was hurt. But they were equally, if not more, upset that guests would have to be told. The wedding would be canceled. Their image as the perfect in-law family would take a hit. My mom called me sobbing about the venue deposit. "We put so much money into this," she cried. "Everyone knew about the big day. This is humiliating." I asked how Claire was. She sighed. "She's devastated, of course, but we're trying to keep it together. We don't want people talking." Spoiler, people talked anyway. News spread fast in their church and social circle. For years, my parents had been softly bragging about their doctor son-in-law and lawyer daughter. Now those same people were whispering about Ethan's cheating, Claire's broken engagement, and the very expensive canceled wedding. A couple of months after the breakup, Claire called me for the first time in ages. She came over, we had wine, and for the first time she was honest. "They're driving me insane," she said. "I'm trying to grieve a relationship, and Mom is talking about photographers and seating charts like I ruined her event." She told me that when she initially found out Ethan cheated and tried to end things, my parents actually said, "Are you sure you can't work through it? Do you really want to cancel everything? Think about how this will look." Claire stared at her hands. "They cared more about the wedding than my mental health," she said quietly. "Kind of like they cared more about it than your actual marriage." It was the first time she openly acknowledged that what they did to me was wrong. We talked for hours. She admitted she'd been jealous, not of me going first, but of the fact that I was willing to stand up to them. "I thought if I didn't go along with them, I'd lose them," she said. "But now I see that even if I do everything right, they can still make choices that hurt me." We both cried. After that, something shifted. Claire started pushing back at my parents more. She stopped attending certain church events when she knew Mom was going to use her as a prop. She told them she wasn't ready to date again, just so they could have a redemption wedding story. She started seeing a therapist. My parents did not handle that well. They started complaining to relatives that their daughters were ungrateful and influenced by modern selfishness. Except this time, people weren't fully buying it. Some of those relatives had seen the group chat receipts from my wedding, the way my parents spun the narrative, the visible fact that Claire was miserable and my parents were more invested in centerpieces than in her healing. The perfect family mask was slipping. A few months ago, my grandma, their own mother, apparently snapped at a family dinner and said, "Maybe if you had supported both your daughters instead of trying to script their lives for Facebook, you wouldn't be so lonely now." I wasn't there, but my cousin told me. My parents were livid, which honestly tells me Grandma hit a nerve. Right now, my relationship with my parents is complicated. We're low contact. They sent a generic happy anniversary text for our 1-year mark with no mention of actually skipping the wedding. If we see each other at family events, they act polite but distant, like I'm the one who caused all this by existing out of order. Claire and I, on the other hand, are closer than we've ever been. We text almost daily. She came over for dinner last week and helped me build IKEA furniture. She's slowly realizing that she's allowed to have a life that isn't a performance. My therapist asked me recently, "If your parents ever truly apologized, Would you want a closer relationship with them? I didn't know how to answer. Because here's the thing. They didn't just miss a party. They chose their image over my marriage. They lied about it to our family. They tried to control the narrative until it backfired on them. And now, as their perfect daughter's life has visibly fallen apart in ways they can't hide, they're being forced to face the fact that you can't curate reality forever. People see. People remember. And those empty chairs at my wedding? Those were their choice. So that's where things stand. My parents skipped my wedding because I went before my perfect sister. They tried to spin it as my betrayal. Then my sister's own engagement imploded, and their perfect family brand started cracking in front of everyone. Now they're left with the consequences of their own priorities, and I'm trying to decide how much space, if any, they get in my future. What would you do in my place? If your parents refused to attend your wedding over their image, lied about it, and only started facing consequences when their golden child's life fell apart, would you let them back in if they apologized? Or is skipping your wedding and treating your marriage as less important than optics a permanent deal breaker? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read them all. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more full Reddit-style relationship stories.